there extra precautions, everything for tonight, should anybody get out of hand?
Yes, we're going to continue to make assessments. As we all do, our officers are going to be vigilant, making sure we ensure the safety of the city, obviously.
Do you have officers, extra officers on standby or on duty tonight?
We have the appropriate number in place, and we're going to be able to increase the number if necessary, but I don't see a need for that. Right now, everybody's doing exactly what we expected them to do because they're acting the way Charlotte reacts. They're doing it thoughtfully and within the boundaries of law.
Are you concerned about people coming from out of town in the coming days?
No, I'm not concerned about it, but we've made preparations just in case.
Chief, are there any divisions within the police department over charging Officer Kerrick so quickly after this incident? Some people view the video from the dash cam, and it was, some saw it as ambiguous.
The organization reflects a community. People have various opinions, obviously, but what I'm doing, I continue to do is expect them to be professional, put those personal opinions aside, and do the work that our community expects us to do. Obviously, there are going to be differing opinions, and we're human, so obviously there are differing opinions.
Are there any regrets with this case? Anything that you take a look at, second guess, regarding evidence collected, what happened out on that scene, especially with training? A lot of people have been concerned about two opposite instructions given to officers. Is that anything that you've looked at as a result of this case?
Absolutely. There's plenty of things that we've looked at and continue to look at. Do I have any regrets? No. I think we have a professional force that's very competent, that have mastered the area of criminal investigations. I think they did a very good job, and I think our charges were appropriate. We again defer to the jury. The decision's been made, or the inability to come to a firm decision. So we'll see what happens moving forward as the justice system runs its course.
What happens with Officer Kerrick now?
He remains on leave until all of those processes have run their course.
What are you guys doing? We have a Knights game tonight. We have a Panthers game tomorrow. Is there going to continue to be security for those events as also?
Absolutely. We've made plans. We made traffic plans. We have staffing on and off duty. We're ready to facilitate people who want to come into the city and have a good time and enjoy those events. Absolutely.
Could Officer Kerrick have his job back if he wanted it, though?
That is not for me to determine. Again, it's up to the courts to decide what happens criminally, and then we have an administrative process that would follow suit. It's way too early for me to determine any of that, so I can't really speak to that at this point.
How have use of force directives changed, if at all, following this case?
Well, what we've been doing all along is we have an external review committee of community leaders. We have some internal advisory council, mainly of officers. They've been going through all of our policies, procedures, practice, looking at our recruiting and training, always making recommendations so we can make improvements. What I can tell you is pretty clearly is there's a difference between lethal cover, being ready for a lethal threat, and actually using lethal force. That's the crux of the whole matter. And all of our training is focused in that area and along those lines.
Collected enough evidence to provide for the state in order to give any clear direction on what happened that night?
Absolutely. I think our investigation was top-notch. It was as good as it could be if conducted by humans. Absolutely. Our people are masterful at their job.
So, Chief, the jury heard two different opinions about the use of lethal force in this case. Should Officer Kerrick have drawn his gun in the first place?
I'm not going to get into the nuances of the case again. It's yet to be determined criminally. What I can tell you is we're making assessments training-wise, and our training is consistent. You can draw your weapon in anticipation if you suspect somebody might be armed, but you cannot shoot until you're actually encountering a lethal threat, meaning the person's armed and about to do you harm.
Chief, talk about morale in the department. What has this done to your officers?
Well, we've been talking about morale for much longer than this, and our issue is we have to make sure our work environment is supportive, and my conversations moving forward to be along those lines to make sure our people are still engaged. Let's be honest, our officers feel like any officer in the country. They feel under siege sometimes. They feel unsupported sometimes. But what I tell them and what I'm going to have them do is come out and see the community that embraces the work that we try to do every day, and how appreciative they are of those heroic efforts. So I just think it's a matter of perspective. I got to get them to see what I've been seeing in our engagement with the community. And we have other people if you want to ask them questions too.
He's doing fine.
Any other questions? I have one more.
Yes, ma'am.
We talked about the use of force directives. Have you had other officers while this trial was going, coming on, asking to review those directives? Have you guys gone over them again as this goes on? It was such a central part of this case and kind of a conflicting part due to some of the testimony.
Well, I understand that interpretation. There's no conflict in what lethal cover is and what lethal force is. The decision to pull the trigger, you have to encounter lethal force. That's the difference. That's not inconsistent at all. Our expert witnesses testified along those lines and I think made a pretty compelling case. It was clear to me. But as far as reviewing the policies, absolutely. They didn't have to ask. I asked them. And again, just being true to everything I said, it's about bottom to top development. Our officers are the people on the street. My job as a Monday morning quarterback is to do my role to critique and assess. I'm going to do that, but also doing that with them. They've been a part of this from the beginning, and none of that is going to change.
Good to go? Thank you very much.
Thank you.